let's talk about why the internet is so worried about Britney again. Hi everyone, my name's Lucy and welcome back to my channel. Now, we've all heard of Britney Spears. She's been in the spotlight from a very, very young age. Her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, has starred in one of my favourite childhood TV shows, Zoe 101. For years, the internet has fought to free Britney, kind of like a fandom that's heavily dedicated to Britney Spears only. Millions of people railed behind the movement that argued the pop star had been trapped under legal circumstances, legal conservatorship. And eventually, that movement succeeded. But now, years later, there's a very strange question that's been circulating online recently. Did the internet help Britney, or did it become too involved in her life? Now, first, let's do a bit of background on Britney Spears herself. The rise of Britney Spears started in the late 1990s. Between then and I'd say the early 2000s, she became one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. Songs like Baby One More Time turned her into a global icon, but that level of fame came with an intense amount of scrutiny. Paparazzi followed her everywhere. Every personal decision became tabloid news. And eventually the pressure took a visible toll, like with a lot of celebrities. But, and this might be some kind of unpopular opinion, that is kind of what you sign up for. You know, you don't get the stardom and the money and that kind of thing without having the negative effects as well. And that goes with anything. It's like putting yourself on social media. You're gonna get good and bad. It's just how it is. Now that brings us on to the conservatorship. Back in 2008, Britney was placed under legal conservatorship. This meant that major aspects of her life, like financial and career decisions, weren't hers to decide anymore, or for that period of time. Those things were controlled by court-appointed guardians. At the time, this legal conservatorship was presented as very necessary for her well-being. But over time, as fans do, you start to question things, and people were questioning it. Why was somebody capable of recording albums, touring internationally, and performing shows still under strict legal control? Those questions eventually grew into an online movement. So of course the internet gets involved, as it always does. Fans created a movement that spread across social media. People began analysing Britney's Instagram posts. They speculated about what might be happening behind the scenes. Eventually the movement grew so large that it attracted media attention and legal attention. In 2021, Britney's conservatorship finally ended, and for many fans that felt like a victory. But something changed. After the conservatorship, Britney gained control over her life again. She began posting more freely online, dancing videos, personal messages, unfiltered updates. But some fans began reacting in a very surprising way. They started analysing her posts again, speculating about her well-being, questioning her behaviour. In other words, the same internet culture that once fought for Britney's freedom, if you like, was now monitoring her life again. I mean, that kind of contradicts itself, but it's what happened. Now, here's the problem with internet activism. Online activism can be very powerful, but it can also blur boundaries. When so many people are connecting to a celebrity's personal life to that extent that they were with Britney Spears, that they do with Britney Spears, it becomes more difficult to separate concern with intrusion. Fans want to help, but sometimes it can kind of turn into surveillance. 3 days ago, Britney Spears was arrested on DUI circumstances. Now, according to authorities, Britney Spears was pulled over late on Wednesday night and showed signs of impairment and therefore had to take sobriety tests before being taken into custody. She was booked into jail but released early the next morning, with a court date scheduled for the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you, Britney. A representative at the scene actually called her actions inexcusable, which I totally agree with. Like, anybody, no matter who you are, if you are driving under the influence, you're not only endangering your own life, but you're endangering other people's lives. Apparently, and this isn't the first time, but she said that she will comply with the law and focus on getting the support she needs to move forward. For this to come just a few years after she's free from this conservatorship, bearing in mind how long she was under those legal boundaries for, is quite shocking. I mean, what is actually going on with Britney Spears? Driver was driving erratically and weaving in and out of lanes. They identified the driver as being Britney Spears. There is actually an audio file online that you can find that I'm going to play for you here, that states that it was a black BMW sedan in and out of lanes speeding, and one of the officers asked, can we send all units down to this area? But it wasn't Britney herself that called 911, and equally it wasn't a family member or one of her team members.
From Allpark CD, 22 Unpack 2, eastbound 118 East Yosemite, black sedan, erratic braking, swerving, and driving with no tail light.
483. Driver is out of the vehicle. We're code 4 on at
5483. Driver out of the vehicle, code 4.
The internet has more influence over pop culture than ever before. It can launch careers, it can expose scandals, and influence legal cases, as well as spread misinformation. But it also raises a very strange question. When does the support become control? And did the internet accidentally create some form of new celebrity pressure? Is this why Britney's been acting the way she has since leaving her conservatorship? I've got a lot of questions with this one. A lot of theories are circulating, a lot of conspiracies are circulating, but I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that there is something going on with Britney behind the scenes? If so, what? Let me know down in the comments, give this video a thumbs up and hit that notification bell and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.